Welcome to HITC Sport, and the Premier League is back, this time with fans. Christ, for the last year, watching football without any supporters in the ground, it's just, what's the point? It's like watching Friends without the laugh track. I'm sorry, but people like us, you know, who have brains resembling meatball sandwiches, we need to be told when to laugh. Otherwise, I'd just be so confused, I wouldn't know what to do. When the fat Italian one cracks a joke, I wouldn't know to laugh. I'd be in danger of sticking a banana in my eye. And similarly here, we need fans for the football. We just do. The players need the fans. I mean, last season, seeing goals greeted by empty noise. Ozzy, you could hear the pigeons on the street. For the last 9 months, I don't really think a fat steward coughing behind the corner flag is really going to stop Bruno Fernandes in his tracks. And so the opening day of the Premier League season kicked off at the weekend. So let's just round up the weekend. Let me know if you want to see me do this on Monday for every single Premier League game week. We can call this the Football Hangover. Yeah, I stole it from Drew Jordy, but he hasn't done one in about 5 years. Right, let's go. Tottenham 1, Manchester City 0. Sorry, what was that? Oh yeah, it was the sound of Jack Grealish hyperventilating to a McDonald's burger bag. This is a guy who says that he won't be affected by a £100 million price tag. Oh, really? Because you just played like someone whose every touch was accompanied by your brain panicking like a cow trying to swim. Grealish, you entered Tottenham Stadium booed by every man, woman and child in the ground. Congrats, even the 9-year-old kids were treating you as if you just took their favourite Pokemon cards in the fire. I'm not sure what Grealish has done to offend Spurs. What, just exist? Come on lads, he didn't use your country's dignity as a tea towel to clean his teeth. And really, Tottenham as a club are someone who've disrespected him in the past. You know, when they once tried to sign you by offering £3 million and Josh and Nomad to Aston Villa. That is what Tottenham thought you were worth 3 years ago. This is a club who are willing to splash out on a stadium that looks like a spaceship, but again, offer virtual couch change and a future Fulham bench-warming sausage roll for you. This was a kid who'd go on to earn close to £400,000 a week, and I'm almost certain Spurs would have had him on the same weekly wage as Danny Rose. Grealish, you should have been offended by that. You should have strolled onto the pitch with your chest out as a £100 million superstar to play them off the park. Good grace, up against Tottenham's homegrown Oliver Skip in midfield, someone who spent last season at Norwich. He's just another Harry Winks or Ryan Mason, God bless his skull. You should have twisted him inside and out, baking him like a Scottish pie. But no, the most expensive player in British sport, lads, he's very quickly looking like a Philip Coutinho type waste of cash. Aussie, £100 million for an Aston Villa midfielder. Shouldn't that be illegal? I'm pretty sure I can't walk into a pub and burn a tenner with a lighter. I mean, if I do, I'll be frog marched to a police station whilst having unemployed mothers of 10 leaving the dole queue to spit at me in the face. I mean, when they're having to cook secondhand lasagna they found in a bin, the last thing they want to see is someone burning money. So I'm sorry, with this, shouldn't the European banks have stepped in? The UN? I don't know, anyone. I can't be the only one who thinks it's appalling that Jack Grealish is the 6th most expensive footballer of all time. He's going to be earning nearly £400,000 a week until he's 31 years of age. Sorry, City, are you sure about that? Grealish, how does it feel sitting next to a roll of chewing gum in Jaffa Tanganga's sweaty back pocket? This is supposed to be Manchester City's next superstar. Someone who looks like Mighty Cyrus crawling out of rehab. But listen, great win for Tottenham. They've now beaten City at home 4 times in a row. And they didn't even need Harry Kane for this one. Jaffa Tanganga was another beast at right back. Son Min had a tepid first half, where he looked about as nervous as an altar boy who's just been asked to stay back after work. But in the second half, another rocket of a winning goal. And lads, give Nuno Espirito Santo some respect. This is not the usual mid-table manager who rolls over and allows Pep Guardiola to suck milk from his bloated teeth. No, this is a man who at Wolves beat Manchester City twice. He drew with Manchester City twice, even taking them to penalties at the Etihad while Wolves were a championship team. And another great win here. But every year, City fans, they aim to be the next Invincibles. That's ended after game week 1. But like I said, lads, this season we're about to witness the fall of Jack Grealish. Honestly, he's like the Bruno Coutinho with a bad haircut. Brentford 2, Arsenal 0. Why is anyone surprised? Arsenal losing to a team like Brentford. If you were shocked by this one's on you. This is like turning up to an Adele concert and wondering why 3 hours later you're contemplating chopping off your ears with a bread knife. I mean, this happens each and every time. This has been going on at Arsenal for a solid 15 years. Getting beaten up by teams like Bolton and Stoke-on-the-Road. So who is surprised by this? But listen, away from home, it's written into Arsenal's DNA to behave like a bunch of frightened schoolboys with the backbone of a wheelchair-bound hippo. Never mind Premier League teams. Over the last decade, you've lost away from home to half the teams in the Championship. The only reason you haven't lost to more teams is because you haven't played the likes of Peterborough since 1965. You've now lost to every single current Premier League club at least once inside the last decade. For a giant club like Arsenal, that statistic is utterly vile. No wonder half the Arsenal fans look like they're on the verge of a midlife breakdown. As for the game, I saw this one coming. Brentford roared on by a full house. They were always going to be bang up for the game. The likes of Ivan Toney, last time he was in the Premier League, he was judged by Rafa Benitez as being a stylish tree stump, loaned out to Shrewsbury and Scunthorpe. If a Champions League winning manager chooses to ignore you to instead spend actual money, yes, legal tender, not just monopoly paper, on somebody like Hazalou to take your place, Ivan Toney, Benitez was sooner going to pick Tony the Tiger up front than him. And after that sort of rejection from a sporting world icon like Rafa Benitez, Ivan Toney would have been well within his rights to just quit the sport and take up a job putting pints in Starbucks. I mean, I realise they don't sell pints in Starbucks, but he doesn't know. He's a millionaire footballer dressed like a gangster rapper. He won't have set foot in a coffee shop since 2012. And here he was absolutely bullying a £50 million centre back. I mean, to be fair, yes, the title £50 million centre back does sound impressive, but in reality, it was just his former Peterborough teammate from their days in League One. And judging by what transpired on Friday night, I'm guessing Tony used to knock White about as if he was made of damp cauliflower every day in training. But Aussie, Tony versus White sounds like that dream crossover of mafia TV shows. Sopranos and Breaking Bad. Anyone? Is this thing on? Watford 3, Aston Villa 2. Most people hate Monday mornings, right? Good Christ, I'm pretty sure the middle-aged plumber is waking up at 4 AM to spend a week fixing toilets in Mayo. Oh, I'm pretty sure they probably spend their Sunday nights contemplating whether or not to bite off their fingers so they can call in sick. But Villa fans, oh today I can guarantee you, any Villa fan who made the trip to Vicarage Road on Saturday to watch their fresh, new-look, exciting team get bullied, yes, utterly bullied by Watford, oh, they probably now look, smell and feel like death. This was supposed to be the new era, right? The revolution after Jack Grealish. Oh yes, you've reinvested your money well. Yes, Grealish is a talent, but let's be honest, he's an overpaid diver with hair greasier than a KFC family bucket. But in reality, this new look Aston Villa era kicked off by starting Ashley Young on the left wing. I'm sorry, is this 2006? The guy turns 37 next summer. He's a useful fullback, but putting him as an attacking option in the final third of the pitch? No, nowadays he's got the creative instincts of a tablespoon of milk. Did Dean Smith really think this is the same exciting winger he used to cheer on at Villa Park 15 years ago? Did he not realise that Louis van Gaal successfully kicked all the attacking play out of Young in 2015? I don't know how, maybe he spent an afternoon smacking Young's head against an oven, or maybe he just forced him to watch 36 consecutive hours of Stoke. But the Young of old is dead and gone. Listen, everyone spent the last 2 weeks tipping Aston Villa to do really well this season. Even Darren Bent says he thinks they'll finish inside the top 10. You know, the same Darren Bent who saw his England career suffocated in a coffee cup while he rotted on the bench of Villa Park. When even he is tipping your club to do well. Good Christ, that's like Joseph Fritzl's kids giving him a character reference, acknowledging that he'd be a cracking dentist. All week long, I've been hearing Villa fans hype up Leon Bailey to the 9th degree. Well, for the first half, he was like a lump of Bailey's ice cream just stuck on the bench. And Matt Targett, I remember saying that he was a Villa weakling this summer, and you all spent that afternoon accusing me of having a baked potato brain. Lads, Targett just had his pride and dignity as a professional sportsman just reduced to wet bolognese. Ismaila Sarr just spent the afternoon turning his ankles into wet butter. But this is just futile. It was like putting Johnny Vegas in a 100-meter foot race with Tyson Gay. But listen, it's only one game I know, and Tyrone Mings had a great season last time out, but honestly, any more performances like this, where he spent the game playing like Julian Lescott on smack, then he'll probably be dropped for Axel Tanzabi. Great win for Watford though. Goals from Emmanuel Dennis, Ismaila Sarr and Kucho Hernandez. Brilliant performance. I know Xisco Muniz looked infectious by celebrating each goal like a 10-year-old boy, but lads, I mean, don't get attached. Treat him like you would a sick puppy suffering from liver failure. I mean, he'll be gone within 6 months. Don't get it wrong, Xisco Muniz, oh, he's going to doggy heaven. Chelsea 3, Crystal Palace 0. I just know this is going to be a horrible season for Patrick Vieira, and I just think that's sad. Vieira is a world-class footballing icon. He's an almost superhuman figure in the sport, and yet here he is, travelling to Stamford Bridge, a ground where he's never lost, and being made to look like some fat librarian without a tactical thought in his head. We should be talking about the name Patrick Vieira with a hallowed respect, not viewing him as relegation fodder, and someone who probably demands in every contract that he has a Burger King drive-thru installed in his flat. I want to see Vieira going head-to-head with Roy Keane in this sport, lifting Premier League titles. What I don't want to see is him wearing sweatpants and forced to pick Jeffrey Schlupp on the wing. I don't want to see him tactically outclassed by someone who looks like a middle-aged dentist. I mean, when Vieira was the captain of the Invincibles, Thomas Tuchel was a 31-year-old youth coach at Stuttgart. Well, look at them now. Standard routine 3-0 Chelsea win, minimum fuss, Marcus Alonso, fresh from watching his club desperately try to dump him at Inter Milan's porch. He steps up to spank in a stunning free kick. Then Christian Pulisic scores a second, and finally, Trevoh Chalobah spanks in the third goal before collapsing to his knees. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen someone look so emotional to score the third goal in a routine win against Crystal Palace. Good grief, slap on a Leona Lewis ballad in the background, put on a black and white filter, and suddenly this would look like an X Factor winner's music video. Chelsea fans were moaning when they sold Mark Guehi. Well, he spent the game stumbling about like a human pancake, while Chalobah, someone who's been at Chelsea since the first Jose Mourinho era, he looked like a modern day Rio Ferdinand, just another Rolls Royce centre back. I mean, you've got to feel for Guehi though. Like Chalobah, he also joined Chelsea in 2007, coming from Cray Wanderers age 7. Both he and Chalobah would have been childhood pals, having the same dream of playing and scoring for the club. And he's just been forced to stand there and watch his mate realize both their dreams right in front of his face. Honestly, he probably went home that night and stuffed a toothbrush up his nose. Roles could so easily have been reversed. Chalobah could have been the one stuck in a team with Joel Ward, with Guehi looking like the future Chelsea star. Sure, as a teenager, he probably dreamed of replacing Gary Cahill, but not at Sellers Park. This was like having a mate in spy school. Both of you go through the ranks together, dreaming about becoming the next James Bond. Then your mate, he gets enrolled in MI5, while you spend your mid-20s picking up dog poo in the park. You're going to feel pretty gutted. Manchester United 5, Leeds 1. Leeds United waited 16 years to finally visit Old Trafford in the Premier League. They've now done that twice in the space of a year and conceded 11 goals. Marcelo Bielsa is lucky such an innovative genius, because honestly, slap that stat on the back of either Paul Heckingbottom or Gary Monk, and Leeds fans would be demanding they be pushed into an empty swimming pool. Brilliant for Manchester United though. This reminds me of when they slapped Fulham 5-1 in the opening day of the 06-07 season before they went and steamrolled the league. Honestly, announcing Rafa Varane seconds before the match started. What a way to energize the crowd. I'm pretty sure at least a fifth of the ground immediately had to wipe their knob with a Kleenex. But you're probably asking, why is such an elite centre half randomly wearing 19 on his shirt? This is a world star, and so be given a Manchester United shirt number made famous by Danny Welbeck? I mean, it's a bit of an insult. Jack Grealish is able to stroll into the Etihad and immediately demand number 10, but Varane, a guy who, unlike Jack, has actually got a trophy cabinet filled with something other than Twix bar wrappers and packets of hula hoops, and he's forced to wrestle the number 19 of Amad Diallo's back. Well, apparently, Phil Jones has just refused to give him his number 4 shirt. If this is true, how in denial can Jones be? Does he really think he's going to need that number this season? Is he ever going to wear it? It's like Harvey Weinstein refusing to let you use one of his condoms. I don't think you're ever going to be needing one of those again, big guy. I mean, what's Jones going to do with it? Wear the number 4 shirt around his house to do the hoovering? Anyway, incredible attacking performance from Manchester United. Hat-trick from Bruno Fernandes, 4 assists from Paul Pogba. Mason Greenwood looking electric up front. This kid has already got 30 goals for Manchester United, and he's not even out of his teens. This guy's got the talent of Wayne Rooney without the scandals or the face which looks like a squashed onion. This guy's a clean-cut model pro who looks like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The media are going to absolutely love him. Rooney was a world-class player, sure, but scandals followed him every time he set foot out his front door. Do you really think there were parents out there who wanted to shove him on their kid's lunchbox? You know, a teenager falling out of brothels? He was never going to get the same type of David Beckham type press, because he looked like a guy who ate nothing but egg yolks for breakfast and looked as though his armpits constantly smelled of whiskey. But Greenwood, what's Greenwood's scandal? What, playing spin the bottle with someone from Iceland in a hotel room? This guy is the future, a marketable David Beckham-esque figure, or Michael Owen before his hamstring snapped like wet confetti. You know, when he was a clean-cut model professional with endorsements hanging out of his ears. Good Christ, he was even given his own cereal. Rooney, by contrast, probably used to wake up every morning and eat 6 bowls of Cocoa Pops before work. Greenwood, give it 5 years. Greenwood is going to be the face on every billboard in the country. He's going to be on the face of every FIFA cover for about 5 years. And honestly, soon, we're probably all going to be tucking into a morning bowl of Greenwood-O's. They might have to change the name. Norwich 0, Liverpool 3. When the Premier League fixtures were announced and Norwich were given Liverpool at home in the opening day of the season, the fans probably puked up their lunch. And again, routine 3-0 win for Liverpool. The main thing is though that Virgil van Dijk was back and he made it through 90 minutes without snapping like a twig. Honestly, after 300 days out with injury, Van Dijk's return, it could have been anything. You hear that he's been doing rehab and great work in the gym, but what if he wasn't? This return wasn't a foregone conclusion. What if Jordan Pickford had not only broken his leg, but also his brain, desire and motivation? What if Van Dijk had just given up last Halloween, instead spending the last 10 months sleeping in until noon every day and brushing his teeth with a spoon? Honestly, this return, this wasn't inevitable. Van Dijk was only back to keep a clean sheet this weekend because he'd worked his nuts off to get back. Honestly, this guy, who could have selfishly rushed himself back for Euro 2020, come back too soon and be wheezing out his nose after 20 minutes against Ukraine. This is a guy who could have been made to look like this summer's internet meme after being easily nutmegged by a mechanic from North Macedonia. He could have returned to Anfield with a broken self-esteem and now resembling an unfit postbox with chubby toes. So fair play to Van Dijk. It could have been easy to just give up. I mean, honestly, it takes a certain type of mindset to recover inside 10 months from that sort of injury. I mean, what, do you think Conor McGregor is going to be back inside the octagon within 300 days? This guy who's dragging his clearly dehydrated leg to Las Vegas nightclubs. Instead of rest, recuperation and exercises in the gym, he's instead signing up for wheelchair boxing matches. I mean, fighting Dustin Poirier next year, there's more chance of him boxing the ears off Dustin the Turkey. Everton 3, Southampton 1. So this was it. This was the moment everyone was looking towards with bated breath. Rafa Benitez at Goodison Park, I'll be honest, I assumed Everton fans would be chucking sandwiches at his head. As for the game, great 3-1 win for Everton, but oh, just play the damn clip. Yeah, Adam Armstrong has done the Alan Shearer career in reverse. But lads, I can't think of a single 24-year-old footballer on the planet with as much pressure resting on his shoulders as him. He was a championship goal machine with Blackburn, but I'm sorry, he's got Jordan Rhodes written all over him. He's going to utterly drown in the top flight. He's stuck in a relegation dogfight and charged with replacing the class of Danny Ings. He'll be the Reed and Brewster of this season. He's going to wait until March for his first goal. And to prove it, for every Premier League goal that Armstrong scores before Christmas, I will drink 2 pints of milk. My teeth hurt. Oh, I have so much milk. Adam Armstrong, please don't score anymore. I can't do this every week. I actually feel like getting sick. Burnley 1, Brighton 2. Burnley versus Brighton. Yeah, on paper, this sounds about as entertaining as watching a couple of pensioners playing chess before comparing their lumps of earwax for dessert. But it was actually an intriguing game. It'd been like Stoke versus Swansea in the past. Not much would separate them in the table, but it was a complete contrast of playing styles. And yeah, Brighton won this one 2-1. Leicester 1, Wolves 0. Dunno, didn't see the game, fell asleep. Newcastle 2, West Ham 4. Newcastle were brilliant in the first half. Alisson Maxson had Declan Rice on toast, and then in the second half, they utterly melted, conceding 3 goals and losing 4-2. An absolute embarrassment of a match. For Newcastle, Joe Willock, he can't arrive soon enough. And with that, let me know, guys, what do you think? What do you think about the Premier League results? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.